So, yesterday we had discussed all the chemical properties of phenols. Okay, so I told you that one property is left, that is one reaction. So today we will start with that reaction and then we will come to ethers. Okay, so the reaction which is left is Reimer-Tiemann reaction. Okay, so in this reaction, what is there? Because it is property of phenol, so that means the starting material is phenol. Okay, when phenol reacts with chloroform CHCl3 in presence of aqueous NaOH. Okay, wherever we are using NaOH, in most of the cases we can use KOH also. So whether we write NaOH, the reaction will be same. Okay, so when these three are taken, in the first step we are going to get ONA and CHO group is introduced on ortho position, which on treatment with dilute HCl to get H positive gives us OH CHO. This ONA is converted to OH and CHO group is introduced here. This is your salicyl aldehyde. Okay, this is salicyl aldehyde. OH and COOH is here, then it is known as salicylic acid. If it is IUPAC name, we come to IUPAC name, then it will be 2-hydroxy and benzaldehyde. So this is 2-hydroxy benzaldehyde or salicylaldehyde. Okay. Now the reaction what you have to learn and to write is this. Okay. Because Reimer-Tiemann reaction is an important reaction. First thing, it is a name reaction. So when it comes to name reactions, this is one of the important name reactions. So that is why you have to remember it in this form. But actually how we obtain here CHO, little to understand that we should know. When phenol reacts with these two components, then in the first step, I am writing it like this, CHCl3 and NaOH. When these two components are reacting with phenol, then in the first step, ONA, CH, yes. हाँ बोलो.
Ma'am, Yashita is telling to join her.
हाँ, but her request is not coming to me. Ask her to send request again. Okay. So it will be CHCl2. Okay. From CHCl3, CHCl2 is introduced at this point. Then in the next step, what happens? We have to use two more molecules of NaOH. Okay. When CHCl2 is introduced here, one Cl and Na minus NaCl takes place, but what is eliminated we are not writing. In first step, what happens? ONA CHCl2 plus two more molecules of NaOH. When they react, then they form ONA CHOH OH. Cl are removed, they will form NaCl and these OH groups of 2 Na are introduced here. Now in the next step, what happens when we are using dilute HCl? That time water molecule is lost, minus H2O, and what is left is CHO. So it will give O, and this Na is hydrolyzed and becomes CH. This is the actual way by which the reaction is taking place. In every reaction, the actual path is always different and what we write is also different. But in some reaction, it becomes quite unclear that how these two are reacting and we get here CHO. That is why in some cases we need to know that how the reaction is taking place. Okay. In this case also, when you see the product which we have formed is ortho product. We generally say that the para products are more stable. So if we had seen in case of nitrophenol, that in case of nitrophenol, because of hydrogen bonding between the two atoms which are present, the position which is more stable is ortho. The same is true here also, because O of CHO and H form hydrogen bonding, and because of this the product which is formed in this reaction is ortho and not para. Okay. Now the same reaction, if instead of CHCl3, same reaction will be there. If CCl4 is used, then also it is Ramat-Tiemann reaction. But this time the product obtained here is COOH, that is salicylic acid. Okay. So both are Ramat-Tiemann reaction, but when carbon tetrachloride is used, that time the product is salicylic acid. When chloroform is used, the product is salicyl aldehyde. Okay. This is all about the chemical properties of phenol. Now again I would like to tell you that same way as you are grouping, I don't know whether you are doing or not, but you are supposed to do. That will help you. That name reactions, all you have to write together. So this is one of the name reactions which you should add in that column. Okay. Along with that, I have told you to collect all reduction reactions, all oxidation reactions. Along with that, now these electrophilic substitution reactions. From the first chapter we have started, that was for haloarenes. Now we have studied for phenols. Now you have seen that though these reactions are almost similar, but in case of phenol we had seen that because of high reactivity, it is giving products of two types, mono substitution as well as poly substitution. So if you compile these electrophilic substitution reactions again on one page for haloarenes, for phenol, and then for coming more compounds, then it will be very easy for you to remember them. See, organic is all about systematic learning. If you learn it systematically, you can score very easily in organic. But if you just learn it in the way we are studying, it will be difficult. Okay, so this is all about phenols. Now we come to the next part of the chapter, that is ethers. Okay, so in ethers, first we write the general formula. ROR is the general formula for ethers. This ROR may be also RO, R dash. That means these two alkyl groups may be same, may be different. These are ethers. Let us write one example. CH3O CH3. Okay, this is common name dimethyl ether. This is not IUPAC name. Dimethyl ether. If I have to write its IUPAC name, I will write methoxy methane. Okay, this is methoxy methane. Now more we will do about the nomenclature. Before that, just one thing, that if we see the bond between O and C, there is some polarity. The bond is little polar. Okay, the polarity of the bond depends on the difference in the electronegativity of the bonding atoms. So the bond is little polar. It's not just in case of hydrocarbons. In hydrocarbons, what happens? Carbon is bonded to another carbon, so the polarity of bond is very less. Here there is little polarity, but the polarity is less than haloalkanes because halogen and carbon have much difference in their electronegativity. So the bond is polar but less than haloalkanes and also less than alcohol. Okay, so this is one example of naming. Another example. This is diphenyl ether in common nomenclature, and for IUPAC it is phenoxybenzene. This case IUPAC we will write methoxybenzene. Okay, why methoxybenzene? Because we know that until this number of carbon atoms in this are more than this, still the name will be on the name of benzene. If the chain here is longer than 6 carbon atoms, 7, then it will become phenoxy and whatever is here. Okay. Few examples more we have to take, that we are taking. Okay, so let me draw few structures. Okay. Now this structure is known as, wait a minute, this is furan, this is pyran. Okay, means what is the difference in this structure and benzene ring? Just see. In this, oxygen is part of the ring. In place of carbon here, there is an oxygen atom. This is heteroatom in this ring. Okay, so this is a pyran ring. When O is attached like this, then it is ether group attached here. So this, when oxygen atom is inside the ring, it is pyran. This is furan. Now when double bond is not here, that means hydrogens are added here, H, 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 then the structure will convert into this. So it is tetrahydrofuran, because we have added 4 hydrogens, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, here it will be tetrahydropyran. Clear? So these will come in the coming chapters. That is why we should know at least these two, furan and pyran. Some more examples. Let me first write CH3, CH2, CH2, CH, C2H5, O, CH3, then CH3O, CH, CH3, CH3, then CH3O, CH2, CH2, OCH3. More we will write after these 3. Okay. Now, see. This is OCH3, that means it is ether group attached. Now this chain actually, this chain is starting from here, 2 carbon atoms from here, so we expand this as CH2, CH3. Now we see that in this chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So on third number of carbon atom, a methoxy group is attached. Okay, so the name of this ether is 3-methoxyhexane, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that is why it is hexane. 3-methoxyhexane it is. Similarly, in this, again it is methoxy. 1, 2, 3. So it is 2-methoxypropane. Okay. So this manner we will do the naming of the compounds having ether group. In this case, we see 1 CH3 group is this side, O group, and 1 CH3O group is this side. In between there is 2 carbon atom. So carbon number 1, carbon number 2, we can name it 1 and this 2 because they are only 2 here. So 1, 2 dimethoxy. Okay, 1 position, 2 position, both the sides it is methoxy, and what is left is ethane. So the common name for ethers, how do we give? Alkoxy-alkane. So that manner only we are giving methoxy-ethane, methoxyhexane. Okay. So naming of ethers is generally asked in exams. 1 or 2 questions are there in the whole question paper for nomenclature, and mostly they are from either ether portion or from alcohol. The parts are divided, means from this particular chapter which sort of question, as I told you in first chapter the questions were mainly from SN1 or SN2 mechanism. From this second chapter the questions, one question is on nomenclature, most of the time either from ether or from alcohol. So we need to discuss it. And never very complicated nomenclature questions are asked. Okay, almost they are very simple. Very long chain and very complicated nomenclature are never asked. Okay, 2 more examples we have to take. C6H5O CH2 CH2 CH CH3, and on this there is 1 CH3 and 1 more. Okay. Now see, O group is here. Now on both the sides of group there are 2 chains. One is C6H5, that is benzene, and that is phenyl. One H removed from benzene, this is phenyl group here. And on this side 4 carbon atoms are there in a chain. This is a sub part of it or a side chain. 1, 2, 3, 4. Either we take this way or we take this way. Maximum length of the chain is 4 carbon atoms. So either we have to take phenoxy, butane or butoxybenzene. We know that until the number of carbon atoms are less than 6, the name will be always according to benzene. So it is actually butoxy, 4 carbon atom, and benzene. Okay. Butoxybenzene is okay, but if we where the functional group is attached, from there we start counting 1, 2 and 3. On third number of carbon atom there is a methyl group on this butoxy. So 3-methyl, now not capital, okay, M should be capital, 3-methyl-butoxybenzene. Okay, so this 3-methyl is actually the subpart of this chain. Similarly, if we see here, then there are two substitution on this is cyclohexane ring. So the main name will be according to cyclohexane. Two substituents are attached on this position and this is ethoxy. This part is ethoxy part. Okay. Now it will be methyl, dimethyl. So it is position 1, position 2, 2 ethoxy, 1, 1 dimethyl cyclohexane. Okay, 2-ethoxy, E will come alphabetically order, it will come before methyl, that is why written here. For numbering we have given this number 1, this number 2. Why? Because we have to follow lowest locant rule also. If we give it 1 and if we give it 2, then it will be 2, 2. Then it will, the total of the locants will become more. That is why it is given here 1 and 2. Okay, so 2-ethoxy, 1,1 dimethyl cyclohexane. Clear? So these are few examples related to nomenclature of ethers.
मैम जो आपने एग्जांपल दिए थे फ्लोरान और पायरन, तो क्या IUPAC नेम क्या होंगे?
Those are names only, no IUPAC name separately. Those names only are there for them. There are certain compounds for which IUPAC names are not given. Okay, so they don't have. Those names only are used as both names, common name as well as IUPAC names. Okay. Now the next thing is preparation methods. Okay. So two preparation methods are there for ethers. First one we are discussing, that is dehydration of alcohols. This is the first method by which ethers can be prepared, dehydration of alcohols. Now I am writing here C2H5OH, ethanol. Dehydration takes place in presence of sulfuric acid H2SO4 used in excess. Okay, 1 minute, excess right here. And temperature 443 Kelvin. In all reactions we don't mention temperature, but when we are mentioning it we have to remember it also. Okay, same at 413 Kelvin. Okay, at this time in the first reactions sulfuric acid was used in excess. In the second reaction when it is taking place, ethanol is used in excess. I will explain the reaction separately again. We are just writing in the summary form. When the sulfuric acid is used in excess with ethanol at 443 Kelvin, the product obtained is dehydration product. CH2 double bond CH2, that is ethene, is obtained by the loss of water molecule. You can understand C double bond HOH, H is here, water molecule lost and we get alkene. This is not preparation method of ether. Okay, but we are comparing the two reactions because we should know that only the temperature and the amount of the reagent is affecting the product. Second, when ethanol is used in excess and the temperature is 413 Kelvin, that time we are getting C2H5O, C2H5, diethyl ether or ethoxyethane. Now what has happened in this reaction? Here also dehydration has taken place because we have given heading dehydration of alcohols. Here dehydration has occurred, water molecule is lost from one alcohol molecule. Here what will happen? C2 OH H another alcohol molecule, because we are using alcohol in excess. So what has happened here? Water molecule is lost here also, but not from one alcohol molecule, but by two alcohol molecules, one water molecule is lost. And when this is lost, what is left is ether, what we have made. Clear? So both reactions are dehydration, but here alkene is formed, in this case ethers are formed. Okay? So this is first method of preparation by dehydration of alcohols. So you can now write that when alcohols C2H5OH are used in excess with sulfuric acid as a dehydrating agent at 413 Kelvin, then ethers are obtained. This is the preparation method for ether by dehydration of alcohols. Okay. Now in this particular reaction, it is so that the alcohol which we are using should be 1 degree alcohol. Now 1 degree is known to everyone. Okay. So 1 degree alcohol is the condition if you want to get the product as ether. Suppose the alcohol which we are taking is 2 degree. In that case, mixture of both means ethene and ether, or you can say alkene and ether. Better to write alkene, because if any other carbon atom is there, so alkene will be different. If 2 degree alcohol is used in the same reaction at 413 Kelvin, then mixture of the two will be obtained, some part alkene, some part ether. In 1 degree at 413, the product obtained was alone ether. But when 2 degree and 413 Kelvin temperature is there, mixture of the two is there, and this predominates. This will be more as compared to ether. And if it is 3 degree at 413, then the product is solely alkene. No ether is obtained even at 413 Kelvin also. Okay, that means the condition of 413 is applicable for 1 degree only. For 2 degree to some extent, for 3 degree whether the temperature is 413 or the temperature is 443. In both the cases, the product will be alkene only. Okay. And this all happens because of the mechanism which is involved in the reaction. When 1 degree alcohol is dehydrated, the mechanism of reaction is SN2. SN2 mechanism is there. Hence the product obtained is ether. But when 2 degree and 3 degree are involved as alcohol, the mechanism gets converted into SN1, and because of that the product is dehydration product forming alkene. Okay. So now in this reaction, you know that we have used 2 alcohol molecules and dehydration is taking place with the help of sulfuric acid, which provides H positive ion. Now again, there is mechanism for this reaction in your syllabus. Okay, mechanism of dehydration of alcohol to form ethers. C2H5OH. O has lone pair of electrons. First step, protonation. Okay, H positive from acids will come and attack on this. It will form C2H5OH. This H will join here and it will acquire positive charge. Okay. Now, in the next step, this C2H5O, let me expand this C and C, H, H. Okay. H positive. Now, one step is over. In the next step, what happens? Another molecule of alcohol, because we are using two molecules of alcohol. Just a minute. Let me draw it this side. H, 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 positive H. In this case, another molecule of alcohol, OH, will attack from back side of the molecule, because the mechanism I told is SN2, and we know that always in SN2 mechanism, attack is from the back side of the molecule and inversion of the configuration takes place. Okay. So now what will happen? We know that in case of mechanism, whenever we study, this has made bond with it, so O acquired positive charge. Now O has acquired positive charge, so we want to neutralize the positive charge of this O with the help of carbon atom. So this H2O will be removed from this molecule, taking this bond. When this bond will be taken, that means this bond will be taken by this O, then this C will acquire positive charge. Okay. Now to neutralize the positive, now why we are not writing two separate steps here? Because it is a SN2 mechanism, and in SN2 mechanism, attack from back side and bond from front side both are attached together at the same time to form a 5-membered intermediate transition state. That is why we are not showing the separated, that C is having positive charge. But to understand, you should know that as this will be removed, this C will acquire positive charge, and to neutralize the positive charge of this C, oxygen of this will give it this lone pair of electron to make the bond. Okay. So in the next step, I am writing this is removed, taking the bond with it, and this C, H, H, C, H, H, O, H, C, H and H, C, H and H. Okay. And now because this oxygen has given its electron to this to neutralize its positive charge which it has acquired because of this O. So now this O will acquire positive charge. So now finally this is lost and this O has acquired positive charge. Okay. Now this is the next step. In the next step again the molecule is not stable until the charges are neutralized. So in the next step this H will leave the molecule. Sorry. This H will leave the molecule, leaving this bond, so that H will be lost as H positive, and because it is leaving this bond, so the positive charge of O will be neutralized. Catalyst in the beginning, at the end regenerated again, and the product is H positive as a byproduct, and this C H2, sorry, CH2, CH3, CH2, O, CH2 and CH3. Ether is the final product. So ether along with H positive as byproduct is formed, and because it was catalyst, so used in the beginning should come out unused at the end. So this is total mechanism. First step in mechanism we always write protonation. The last step is always deprotonation, and in between there is nucleophilic attack. So this is nucleophilic attack of this OH on the molecule. Okay. So in mechanism these three steps are constantly coming. Clear? So So this is the first method, dehydration of alcohol, along with its mechanism also. The next method of preparation is known to you. That method is Williamson synthesis of ether. Only two methods are there. The first one we have already done. Second one, Williamson synthesis of ether. This we had done already when we were doing the properties of haloalkanes. Okay. When alkyl halides RCl I have written reacts with sodium alkoxide, then what happens in this case? We know that R dash plus NaCl is byproduct, and this is ether. The name of this reaction is Williamson synthesis of ether. So this is one of the methods by which ethers can be prepared. In this method, maybe these R are same, maybe these R's are different. So it can be used for both, for preparing symmetrical as well as for preparing unsymmetrical ethers. Okay. Now this R dash can also be aromatic. Then in that case the ether formed will be RO alkoxybenzene. Okay, so it can be aliphatic, it can be aromatic as well. Aromatic ethers can also be prepared by using Williamson synthesis of ethers. Again, important condition in this reaction also, this is done, that if this reaction has to take place, the alkyl halide which we are using should always be 1 degree. Okay, so 1 degree. Now in case if we have to prepare ethers which are 2 degree or 3 degree, in that condition what to do? If you want to prepare, suppose let me take example when this alkyl halide is 1 degree. So I am writing C2H5Cl plus CH3ONa. Okay. Then in that case what will happen? C2H5OCH3 methoxyethane is the ether formed here, plus NaCl is the byproduct. Okay. Now this again the ether which is formed is only 1 degree, no branching is present. Suppose we have to prepare a ether which is having branching, then in that case what we can do is the alkoxide which we are using can be of any degree. It can be 1 degree, it can be 2 degree, it can be 3 degree. So if we want to prepare a 3 degree ether, then we can only take the alkoxide molecule as 3 degree. But alkyl halide in this reaction should be every time used 1 degree. In this case the product will be C2H5O and CH3 and CH3. Okay, so this will be the product when we are using 3 degree alkoxide ion. Clear? Now what happens if we use here 2 degree? This is okay? In case of 1 degree, if alkyl halide used is 2 degree or 3 degree, then in that case what happens? Suppose I am using here 3 degree alkyl halide, CH3, CH3, CH3 and okay. So let me complete this. Just 1 minute it will take. Okay. R O N A. This R may be CH3. Okay. Then in that case, what is going to happen? Instead of formation of ether, dehydrohalogenation Cl and H. This will be removed and product will be CH3, CH3, CH2 double bond. Instead of ethers, dehydrohalogenation occurs and product is not formed as required. Okay. So this is about Williamson synthesis of ether. Remaining portion we will discuss tomorrow. Okay.